Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Smash Through. I'm your host, Heezy, and I'm joined by my co-host, the third best Zero Suit main in the world, Matt Clem.
Wow, that seems so unlikely.
Yeah, it probably is.
I can think of at least five that are better than me just off the top of my head.
Eh, for now. For now. How's it going, Matt?
It's going all right.
That's good. That's good. It's been a while since we did this, and I'm excited. Before we get kind of into why it's been a while and stuff, just want to mention the Discord for people. Just do a little housekeeping. Go join the Discord. Talk about nerdy stuff, including Smash. It's in the show notes. And then also, if you're watching on YouTube, if you hit that subscribe button, if you're one of the first 1,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel, you will be entered to win whatever the newest Nintendo console and that plays the newest Smash game is whenever we hit that. And it's just kind of our way to say thank you to those listening, and to ramp up a little bit of support for the channel. Which maybe we'll talk a little bit about the Switch 2 a little later.
I was so curious by the cryptic message you just gave there. I assumed that they've said maybe it wasn't going to be a Switch like it is now, or
well. They haven't announced it. Like, I thought that they would have already announced what it's going to be, because like we were supposedly getting it this Christmas, and then apparently that got pushed back, so they haven't announced it yet. I'm very curious what it will be, and if it will be backwards compatible. Because if it's not, then I'll just have to give out a Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they release a new Smash game for the new thing, in which case I'd be giving out that. So, yeah, I don't know. All right. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Today we are talking about our challenge that is not quite yet done, but we both spent a month back in February really just like trying out a character that each of us had picked for the other person. That's Roy for me, and Diddy Kong for you. And before we get into like kind of the results of that, there will be a video up where we'll play each other with those mains. But Matt, outside of me getting extremely sick, hurting my rib in March, like we didn't record an episode in March, and it's close to the end of April, and what really happened that put the show on hold is Crown got canceled. This thing that we were getting ready to prepare for, the super major of our stay got canceled, and I'm kind of curious, like, how's your motivation for Smash these days?
I mean, I think even prior to that, my motivation was kind of medium. I was definitely gonna practice pretty hard for Crown, to at least try to do my best, but yeah, I don't know. I think I have more of a casual relationship with Smash than I once did.
Yeah, I mean, my motivation went like off a cliff. Like, I was just like to the point where I don't even know that I'm a Wolf main anymore. Like, I'm like
Sure.
considering becoming a PT main just to like enjoy the game more and stuff like that. And maybe I'm a Roy main now. We'll find out on this episode. Like, I just think that it's so funny to me the level of dedication that some of the things in Smash take, compared to other things. They on Tweaks Talk they were talking about card games the couple weeks ago, and kind of like learning the skills that are required in different games. And man, it feels like Smash requires like exercise, like actual physical dexterity exercise to be able to just do things that you would normally do.
Well, I think that, at the end of the day, exercise is probably going to help you with anything in life. Like being in real shape would be helpful. I assume you're talking about like actual finger exercises, but
I meant just like, actually
sure.
practicing Smash. But
Sure.
it is so different. I find that to be very different than like picking up a deck and playing Magic, or like it is a lot more analogous to like practicing your free throws than it is playing 20 games of Magic.
Well, I think that those exercises could probably exist. I think that they just don't. Like, let's take, for example, like when we used to do like the Sneak Keeper Ditch or whatever in Magic, like you could consider that basically like,
Yeah, that's true.
your RAR practice or whatever. And if you look at other games, like they have chess puzzles or whatever, which you consider practice.
Sure,
Um,
that's totally fair.
so they certainly could make that a thing if somebody was so inclined, you could make magic exercises, no doubt. And obviously that example they actually do a lot. But I agree, like so much more of it is just unconscious, right? Like it's like really everything in Smash needs to be so second nature that you just need to be able to do it without thinking about it. So you need that
Yeah.
practice.
Uh, yeah. So that's kind of the hiatus of us, but we both have been playing a little bit more Smash recently. The last couple weeks, I know that you got some characters into Elite Smash, uh, and I've been playing a lot with Maxwell. So let's kind of dive into our main topic today, which is a conversation between the two of us about this process. And I want to take you back to when we first did the challenge. Uh, how long into it did you start enjoying Diddy Kong?
Honestly, after it was over,
You're like, all right.
I yeah, if I'm being honest, I would not recommend this to anybody. I think it was really bad for my mental health in Smash to play a character that I just did not like at all,
Yeah,
and especially a character that was as difficult as Diddy Kong. Like, I think the point when I started not hating it completely was when I learned how to recover properly and learned how to get kills. Like,
yeah,
it's so frustrating playing a character that you don't enjoy and realizing how much work you have to put in just to be able to play the game at a base level.
yeah. It's almost like it would be like somebody trying to pick up Inkling and not liking Inkling.
Right.
It
I
would
mean,
just be hard.
probably. I don't know. I would say Diddy Kong is even more frustrating than Inkling because at least Inkling, like she can't kill sometimes, right? But like at least you have Cheese with Roller and her recovery is pretty self-explanatory.
Sure, sure. I I there was a point where I was like, man, maybe this was a bad idea because you were so frustrated
Oh yeah.
with it. And do you think you broke through? Like, if you get Diddy on random now, like, are you like pretty stoked?
Yeah, I think that my Diddy is at least competent now. Like I can get kills. Like I understand where the kills are coming from. I mostly don't SD anymore, which is really helpful. Uh, and
Yeah,
I think
I
that
could have used some SDs today when we were playing. Man, come on.
I spent some time trying to learn some of the more complicated stuff, like some of the Z drop combos, and it was just very not worth it. So, once I got over the idea of doing anything like that, it was helpful.
Nice. Um, I I think that one of the things that this taught you that I've noticed in your game is I feel like you're really good at win conditions now, or like or like understanding win conditions, regardless of what character you play. You're able to play towards a win condition, and not just like a kill move, but like actually directing the game into a way to get the kill.
It's interesting. I mean, I felt like I had that already with fundamental characters, but maybe I've gotten better at doing that with like more niche characters. Because like Diddy Kong, you can get the back air sometimes at the ledge, but like if you're just fishing for back air, you're probably gonna lose.
Yeah. Uh, any thoughts about Roy or any you want me to wax
Yeah.
poetic?
Well, I mean, if you want to start first, you can. But if not, I can tell you what I think that your Roy has done for you.
Oh yeah, go for it.
So one thing that I really like about your playstyle now is that you're way more willing to just mash on me, right? Like it's not like uh, I do something and you try to like shield and react or whatever, right? It's more like, or like you try to like run to the other side of the stage and kind of bait me into doing some stuff or whatever. It's more like you run at me with like a rising nair and then like you'll land and I'll try to hit you and then you'll just like F tilt me the other direction or whatever, like just realizing when you can have multi sequence buttons. And like you did that to some extent with Wolf, obviously, right? Like if you do like nair into fair or nair into F tilt or whatever, but it's a lot less formulaic with Roy. Like you can mostly just press any button into any button, and you're pretty likely to get there. And I think that Not only have I seen that in your Roy play, but like I think it has come through in some of your other characters as well. So
Yeah, uh what's so funny about this is like behind the scenes the reason the Matt picked Roy is because I think he has like a bottom tier bad recovery. And that's not really why I picked him. That's me memeing. But it's one of the reasons. Because I don't know that my opinion changed. For what it's worth. I had a lot of fun with Roy. I'll say that. Mostly because like I think that you're right. Like I think that my Greninja and my Pokemon trainer and my K like all of my characters are now I'm more comfortable being more aggressive.
mm-hmm.
And it's not just about aggression though, it's about looking for strings in opportune moments. Um
Yeah, not even necessarily strings in advantage, right? Because like
yeah.
that's a whole separate thing. But like strings in neutral, where you're like, okay, I'm just gonna throw out a nair and then land and then do F tilt, no matter what happens. And
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff is actually really powerful.
Yeah. I think that, specifically my Ivysaur I was playing the other day and I was like, oh man, like this like floating backwards nair into down tilt into up B that I just got, like that is never something I would have done
mm-hmm.
before playing Roy. It wouldn't have happened.
Right.
So or maybe it was up throw. Anyway, whatever it was, I was like, oh, that was just Roy play. I think that there are things that I don't like about Roy that I didn't like about Roy. I think that if you get put off stage without a jump with Roy, you're dead. Like there's not a lot of coming back from that. I do think though that some of the things that I didn't appreciate about Roy is his ability to edgeguard, like going off with fair and just like putting somebody off the stage. As long as you save your jump, like you're coming back and they're probably dead. His ability to cover space quickly, not just on the ground, but like if you think about just having a sword, like even though the sour spot sucks, like if you need to back away from somebody or if you need to create space, he does it in a way very different than my other characters, right? Like you've got Wolf's space creating tool is like a laser. It's one of the things that you said is you wanted me to play a character that didn't have a projectile, right? Mm-hmm. And having to learn that, I think has made me better against sword characters. Like understanding that they occupy a larger space than they look like they occupy is something you kind of have to learn.
Yep, I agree. Had something that when you were on this train, but I can't remember what it was now, so probably wasn't that important.
I also think that one of the things that you'd mentioned this, but I can't remember the text that I sent about this, but it was about whether or not like understanding, or how did I say this? Breaking the turn-based cycle. It's funny because I think my Mario actually got worse. Which is wild. You think it'd be the one that like would be way better from this? But oh man, my Mario's so bad now. Might be like bottom 5 characters for me. But other characters that get to break the turn cycle, I think that I'm very comfortable with. I would honestly say that, and I would curious of your opinion. I would say that Roy is one of my top 5 characters now.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
Did you? I'm kind of curious after our games today because I've been playing Roy. Did you expect the result of this, like, or to be? I don't know that would happen for me.
No, I did not expect that. But I do think that Roy is a really good character to learn and also fairly intuitive once you start learning him.
Mm-hmm.
So in hindsight, it's not actually that surprising.
Yeah,
I mean, Roy just has a lot of good buttons, right? Like it's it took me a minute too when I first started playing Roy, but like I don't know, he's so not formulaic. That's not the right word. He's just very intuitive as a character once you understand how he works, right? Like once you kind of like break your mind of whatever habits you have with other characters, and you realize
Yeah.
that like he's just like this rush down character, you're like, okay, I understand what he's trying to do in every spot.
It's kind of like Greninja in some ways, to be honest. Of like not they don't have similar gameplay, but the breaking down your habits so that you can build up a feeling with the
Mhm.
character is almost the most important thing.
Right.
Uh, did you?
One thing I really also like about your Roy currently is how you have not done like I feel like when you played K. Rool all the time, you'd get like these really lazy recoveries, right? Because you just like, oh, I can just drop all the way down to the blast zone and go right next to the ledge and just go straight up because it's like very hard for most characters to challenge it.
Mhm.
But like with Roy, you have to be a lot more cognizant about like where can I actually get back from? What does the recovery angle look like? How early do I need to up B based on whether my opponent's trying to come out to get me? So
How do you feel like I do that well?
I just feel like you were doing that really well today. Like
Oh,
I feel like I was unable to edge guard you or even predict necessarily when you were going to get to the ledge.
oh. Well, thank you. I while we're on it, like one of the things that I really appreciated is I don't remember what tournament it was. I think Tweak won a tournament. He either won or took second, and like the next day, your Diddy Kong's ability to like use up B to shoot the rockets at me. Like I think I died like 3 times that next day. Like just like, oh, Matt's doing this now. Like how do I combat that? I that was impressive that you were able to just kind of pick up something after playing Diddy for a little while. You watched Tweak and immediately found something to pick up. I kind of would like to talk about this. How did you uh, prepare for like learning Tweak? Did you do any homework? Did you jump in the lab? Like what did you do?
Yeah, I watched Tweak has like a full-on Diddy Kong guide with like a whole bunch of stuff, and that was way too complicated. But I did watch it though, and yeah, I watched a little bit of gameplay. I remember seeing how strong the barrels were. I was like, wow, these barrels kill like 60. So I just started trying to do it, you know, and like trying to hit the platforms above people and stuff is also really strong. Additionally, whenever I play against somebody online, especially somebody that's like not that good, but is like, you know, playing against my zero suit or whatever, where they're like in the top 1%,
Yeah.
um, I look at what they're doing because I'm like, okay, well, this person isn't very good, but they're also clearly winning a lot, right? Because they're at this GSP. So what is it that they're doing that makes this character like I don't know, you could call it cheese or whatever. Like, what are they doing that just makes it easier to get wins with them? And one of the things that I was noticing was recovering very aggressively with the barrels. I mean, when you watch Tweak do it, he like 2 frames with it, which is just like insane.
Dude, he's so good at it. It's unreal. I so uh I watched The Art of Roy and watched Cola. Luckily, Cola like made a comeback during the time that we did this. That was wild. Uh, and then uh, it's so funny though because then MK Leo just a couple weeks ago busted out the Roy, and I thought his Roy was so different than like anyone else's. It was interesting.
Dude, MK Leo's Roy is sick.
Uh, and I thought I don't know I thought it was very interesting the differences like to kind of see how he plays the character so differently and how he occupies so much more space it feels like than other players with the character.
Yeah, I think MK Leo's playstyle is also just very distinct, right? Like, I feel like I could watch almost anybody. Like, if you just like sat me in front of a match and didn't tell me who was playing, and you like MK Leo was playing one of the characters, I feel like no matter what character it was, I could be like,
You
this
could be
looks like
that,
MK Leo.
that's okay, Leo.
Yeah.
That's we've just watched so much because he won so much.
I mean, not only that, but like I said, he just plays very differently. Like the way that he decides that he needs to like it's like aggression right in your opponent's face, but also spaced. I guess like Mars kind of plays that way too, but like you would always know Mars because he would go for some crazy nonsense that like makes
Sure.
no sense.
Uh, if we were to run it back, and what character would you pick for me?
Hmm. It's a good question. I don't know. I kind of put a lot of thought into Roy. I guess Rob maybe would be one that I would pick.
That's fair. Uh, it would be hard for me not to say Fox for you.
Sure.
I think that Fox would be like the one I think I would pick Fox for you. So
Yeah, I like that pick. I kind of wish you'd have picked him over Diddy. And I'd have this sweet Fox I could drop Zero Suit, man.
just do it. uh, any kind of final thoughts on? I mean, one, I really like that you were like, you guys shouldn't do this. Like, I'm just telling listeners, like, hey, this wasn't good.
Yeah, I think that it's all contextual, right? Because like I think like you said, it did end up being good for you, right? Like I think you enjoyed playing Roy. I It just depends. Like I think it depends on the character, right? Like if I had told you that you should play Pichu for a month, I think that you would not have enjoyed it.
Probably not.
Yeah. So it just really depends. I think that if you're going to set yourself a character to spend a month on, it should be a character that is easy fundamentally to understand. Um, unless you really are enjoying them from the start. Like the having a character that's insanely difficult and also that you're not enjoying, I think is a really bad combination.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, that is going to do it for the main topic. We will, as soon as I can see again, we will record a video of Spencer's Roy versus Matt Sadiddy. It'll be here on the YouTube channel. Before we go, though, Matt, who's the top 5 players in the world right now?
I haven't been following the Japan scene, so I don't know if Mia and Akala are still crushing it over there. I think Sonics is pretty free in the list right now. I mean, like I realize he lost to Shattuck in the grand final reset, but like he still does well at every tournament that he played in. I think has he even missed like a top 4?
I don't know.
So probably those 3. I mean, I assume that the answer you're fishing for here is Shattuck, but
I'm not fishing, man. I'm just like, I think that it's actually hard. Like, I think that Mia had a drop off, and you've got these players that are top 8ing that aren't winning in. I shouldn't say aren't winning. Like, I think they both won a tournament this year. And Tweak and Leo, you've got Spargo and Sonics, and it's like, who's the top 5? Like, is it even? And then you've got Shattuck, and honestly, I feel like every time Udace plays, he like top 3s also.
Yeah, I was really honestly impressed by DeBuzz this last weekend, but surprised at how far he went in that tournament. Because like I think DeBuzz is a great player, but like I usually don't expect him to beat like the top players very often, But he had a really good run in the Luminosity Invitational. Very impressive. I mean, he has like a huge Leo problem, which is wild. Like he just like can't beat Leo. But
do you think Shattuck will end the year in the top 5?
I'm not sure. The thing is, I think that people do not have enough practice against high level Corrin.
Like any?
Well, yeah, I mean, Leo went Corrin for one major and just straight up won, right? And then like he never played Corrin again, pretty much.
almost did it with Roy too. He just like.
So like I think that it's going to get harder for Shattuck when people learn how to play against Corrin. But that being said, he'll obviously get better as well. So it's hard to say. I think it's super early to make any kind of call like that. Like you do see people just like come out of the gates swinging. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see. I do think that, like I said, I'm not totally sure how Mia's been doing. I think Akala's still been winning a decent bit. So like, Akala, Spargo, Sonics probably still free for top 5.
Sure.
And then I don't know. I don't know about Mia, and then the fifth slot maybe like I don't know, like Light probably has a pretty good case. There are probably a lot of people that could be that number 5.
All right, well, that is going to do it for a little Smash conversation. Leave a comment. Let us know who your top 5 players are right now and where you think that it will end up. As well as don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can enter to win. Look for that video, and then we'll be back next month with another episode of Smash Through.